It's so long since I've played with these gansai tambi granulating colours that I thought it must be about time that I use them again, as they were all the rage. But I thought I haven't yet had a flip through of this one, so let's see if we can combine the two. Hi everyone, Jane here for another video, and I thought today I would get out these granulating colours from gansai tambi that I have a video on my channel when I first got them, showing how they worked and what they were like and testing them out, so I will link that at the end of this video if you'd like to watch that. I have since then made a couple of projects using them, but I honestly haven't got them out as much as I could have done. So today I thought they would go rather nicely, because they have a bit of a galaxy like look about them. They would go really nicely with this collage book. Now I got this at Christmas, and it was in my video where I talked about what I got for my different presents, and I did say I would do a flip through and a project. So I am going to flip through this quite quickly first of all, so if you don't want to know what's in the book because maybe you've ordered it or you're thinking about it and you want it to be a surprise, then just zap forward through the video a bit until you get to where we start to make the project, which I will do in real time today. And if you do want to see what's in it to get an idea whether it's something you would like or you're just interested, because I love looking through books, then keep watching. Now this is the Collage Soup Hey Diddle Diddle. I have a couple of other Collage Soup books. Let me just grab them. They're all by my side here. I have Bird Nerd, which was the first book I bought, and then I have the Shrooms and Blooms, which I got because I love mushrooms, I love bottles and things like that, and this is a really nice one for that. So they are the books I already have. I have to say I think I use the Shrooms and Blooms the most out of those two, but I saw this one and this really appealed to me. It's called Hey Diddle Diddle because Hey Diddle Diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon, and so it's very galaxy inspired. So it's a book of over 110 fancy collage papers to cut up, tear up and stick on, and Emily Stone is the collage soup lady, and this is in collaboration with Harper Sullivan. And she does have a website where you can order these as ebooks, I do believe, but they're also available on Amazon, which is where I purchased my other ones from, and from where this one was purchased. So I will link it in the description box below. And if you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed and you like this video, do please give me a subscribe. And if you enjoy the video, do please give me a thumbs up to say you like the video. I do a quite mix of videos on my channel. I love collage. I also love watercolours. In fact, I love every medium, let's just face it. So you will, it's one of them channels where I think pick a mix what you like to watch, really. So this is a little bit in the beginning. So the cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the universe to know itself. And that was Carl Sagan. I'm going to say it as, it might not be said like that. So a little bit about the book and how to use it, and then we go into the pages. Now the pages in my book, which I'm going to presume is normal, like a matte finish. They are not a glossy, and all the pages are double-sided, but I personally find that gives you a much greater scope for the amount of pages that you get. So this is a really, lots of vintagey elements I feel in this one. I'm just going to turn the pages and let you see. Lots of faces, lots of lunar and solar type images, some more surreal images, some really I love these sorts of pages. So you've got pages that are great for using in backgrounds, pages that are great for cutting out elements for focal images. And as I'm passing through, I'm sort of thinking, which one will I be choosing for my project later on. I decided I think I want a person, but I also want some background elements, but there's lots and lots of stars and you get a lot on each page. So you could, you know, use it as a ready-made collage, or as I often do, I'm sort of looking at cutting out different elements. I love her. I think that's a beautiful image, that one. But as much as I love these whole page images, on the other side you're getting lots of like little bits to cut out, which makes it a really good sort of overall book for lots of, you know, to build up your pages. You're not just getting a background, you're not just getting focal points. Another beautiful image, another one. And even if you don't want to actually cut the pages up, this in itself is a fabulous inspiration for creating your own page, because that would be, you know, if you wanted to use your watercolours and your gold inks and stuff to create something similar, that's fabulous inspiration. So I will just flick through. Oh, here we go, lots of planets. And this gives me like a sort of vintage vibe. I'm loving her. I'm thinking she may be who I'd choose, but I won't use that. I want her, and then I want to use this as my inspiration for how the page might go. That's another fabulous image though as well. There lots of smaller images, so you get a nice sort of variety of sizes, and you get sort of like photography type pages and then like graphic images as well. This is looks like quilling. I'm going to guess it is a photo of a quilled piece, but you know, so the beautiful background there. But you also get in here what I like, these paper doll type elements, and you get a lot of I'll get past these ones. You get some like winged images as well, so you can add them onto, like here, like with the moths, I would guess, rather than butterflies, moths. And then you get like, these are some sort of birds, I think they're birds rather than butterflies. But then you've got your individual wings as well, so you get some absolutely stunning images with fabulous dragons, if you like your dragons. Wings in all different sorts of shapes and sizes and colours and styles. Absolutely fabulous, and that was why I wanted this, because it really appealed to me. Two paper dolls, but also all these little fussy cutty elements that you've got on there, so you've got a lot to play with. So like I say, you can either use it as a whole or really cut them up, use the bits and pieces. Fabulous. Even if you don't like the space sort of themes, like the lunar or solar theme, you've got these fantastic butterflies. More here, more sort of steampunky images. So absolutely gorgeous. Am I nearly at the end? I must be nearly at the end. It must be. So much in here. It is a lot to use. Like I say, I will link this in the description box. I will link Emily's channel as well. So, and there we go. So these are printed by Amazon if you want physical copies. So that is where I will link it to. I will link it to the UK Amazon because that's where I'm based. But always look at your local shops and retailers as well, because it may be cheaper, it may be better for you in terms of delivery. So here are the granulating colours. Oh, let me just grab them out. And I'm thinking that I may go mostly for Aurora Blue and potentially Aurora Violet. Those two colours. Now they're in big pans. I'll talk about those when I'm actually using them. But what I will do for now is I need to get set up with my water and with my sketchbook. I'm thinking Cardi sketchbook today, my Cardi Fat book. Do love that book. So I'll get that all set up and then I'll be back. I have my pots. Well, my little, I think I got it in a charity shop. It's like a little, I'm going to guess a little snacky dish, but I use it for mixing up washes with this. I have changed my mind, I think. I've decided, looking at the cover, which has got the colours in the order. I did do swatches, but I can't find them. I'm thinking that I would actually like to go with I think it's Aurora Violet is that one. And then this one I think is Aurora Pink. So I'm thinking Aurora Pink. I'm not actually, I was going to take them out, but I'm not going to take them out because otherwise that tells me the colour, doesn't it? So Aurora Pink and Aurora Violet, I think, are the colours that I want to go with. Before I do that though, I keep pinging something. I'm just going to tape off the edges. I do want a little bit of a frame. So I'm in my Cardi Fat Book, 100 GSM. It's lovely cotton rag paper, but it is quite thin, but it is a really cost-effective little sketchbook if you want to sort of just have a book that you feel no pressure to be perfect in. To be fair, I don't feel much pressure to be perfect in anything, but if it is something that you struggle with, that you don't want to ruin, like expensive cotton paper, this is a really good one. I find it is a very different sort of paper, to be honest. It is very textured, very rough, but I enjoy it because of the properties it has. If you like something a bit more refined, it may not be for you, but you know, I enjoy it, and I know there are other people who do enjoy it as well. So you know, I'll link it down in the description box just in case you are interested. Just to say, everything I'm using I purchased myself, or it was a present from my family, not from a company. And all the links, any links that I put are not affiliated. I don't get paid for you to click through or anything like that. So I am going to get some water first of all in here to make my two little trays of colour. Now these granulating colours work best, I'm getting water everywhere, when they have a lot of water in to be able to do their thing. So I don't know why I've just put that on there. That's probably going to dry by the time that I actually get around to using it, but never mind. So I'm using, this is my Artway quill brush. It is really chunky one. I don't know what size is it. Size 8 it was on there, but I'm not sure how they sometimes work with these. So I'm going to just load that up with colour and then add it into here. Get some more. Just want lots of colour. And it looks like it's one colour to start with, but if you leave this to settle for a while, it does start to split even within the pot. But you don't have to wait for that. It will split on your page if you've got lots of water. So let's get a lot of colour down. If I don't use all of this, it's not a problem. What I will do is I will then leave it in here, let it dry, and then use it again, reactivate it and use it again another time. So let's get some of the Aurora Violet. Now these may look quite similar. Oh no, that's very much more a violet, isn't it? Let's face it. So it will split into more than one colour when it goes down on the page. I'm sort of squishing it out on the sides there just to get the colour out. Now they do give you one extra empty pan on here, but I find it easy just to put it into this because I don't think even that pan would be big enough for how I like to work. I like to make sure that I've got plenty in there with lots of water and I can really get my brush in. Right, so let's see, that's now. Let's get that wet again. I've got a nice bit of purple going on there in the background. Now I've done it like that. I'm just soaking this. This paper is pretty good at taking a lot of water actually. Now I'm just wanting to make a really sort of abstracty galaxy looking background, so I am just daubing on my colour then let's go with the pink. They may be quite similar, but I'm not too worried. I just love watching paint sort of flow into each other. Now this is probably going to take a little while to dry. I have really puddled it, but that is what I want. I want it to have lots of opportunity to make some cool effects. I may, to be honest, suck some of that up because it is probably more puddled than I would have wanted. I can already see that it is separating. The blue is already separating in some areas, but I will probably suck some of this colour up with a piece of kitchen towel. It's all dripping off the sides as well. But this paper as well, because it is very rough, it automatically sort of has more of a granulating look on it, which sometimes I'm not sure if it is actually from the paint. I think sometimes it's just from the texture of the paper. Let's add a little bit more in. Why not? It's obviously got a dip there, hasn't it? So let's just pop that there a second. Let's get my kitchen towel, because the sad thing is it is really showing the different colours there. But I'm just going to suck some of this water up because it is a bit too much. And then I will leave this to dry, because I can already see how it's getting some different sort of colours going in there. So I'll leave that to dry and then I'll be back. Okay, so while that's drying, I thought it would be a good moment to actually start cutting out some of this collage so that I would have it ready. Now I'm thinking that I would like some of these stars, probably some of these sort of really, I'm not sure if they're really deep blue or if they are black and gold. I'm thinking that would be nice. So I am going to, I think, just cut, I might cut a couple of the gold. I might just cut, I'm going to cut in, I don't really want the tiny ones, but they sort of are going to automatically come with it, I think. So let's go with those like that. And then perhaps, make sure I'm only cutting through one layer. These couple here, so I've got 5, I think. Although I'm thinking I might like a bigger one. No, we'll go with this one. And then on this page, I would like, just put the bookmarks away, this lovely lady here. So I'm just going to cut roughly around her just to get her out of there. Now if she ends up being too big for my page, because she's got that outfit at the bottom, I can always cut a bit of that away. I cut her nose off. No, I don't think I did. I'm hoping I didn't. Oh my goodness, I did just cut the tip of her nose off. I'm sure she'll be fine. I'm sure she'll look fine if I just cut her to be. So you would take a lot more care when you were cutting out, I'm sure, than I do. I can be a little bit slapdash, but if I round that off, that's not even going to notice. So this is the thing, there's always a way. Well, no, there is always a way, because you can always, just start again and do something different if need be. It's a piece of paper, and it's not going to be the end of the world. And lots of times you can find ways around things by covering them with another piece of collage, or if in doubt, painting over it and things, that adding in your acrylic pens and all those sorts of things can be used to cover up any little bloopers, so to speak. So I am using my Tim Holtz scissors. I'm thinking that I might do a video about showing you my most used sort of essentials, shall we say, for art and craft. So if you think that's a video you would be interested in, do please let me know in the comments. So I thought it'd be quite an interesting video because, you know, we do lots of videos on YouTube. I say by we, I mean like YouTubers in general, of like all the pretty things, you know, all the pretty new things and all the colourful things. But sometimes the things, well, I know that the things I get asked about the most are generally those sort of the basics of what I use, and so I thought it might be interesting just to go through some of those, like as a almost like my top 10 essentials. So that may be a video that I make quite soon. There we go. This is, oh, it goes that way up. I was thinking it was an interesting shaped star, but it's not an equal. It's not a symmetrical sort of star. It's taller one way than the other. It is probably, I say it's not symmetrical, it is symmetrical that way. It's not symmetrical from all angles, is what I mean. So it just, these are nice and easy to cut out. She was lovely and easy to cut out if you don't cut off the tip of her nose. But even then, see, you would never know. If I hadn't told you, you probably wouldn't have known. Shouldn't have told you, should I? And so these scissors are serrated, which is why I love the noise of these, I have to admit, but I apologise if it's not a noise that you like. It's I find it quite, not therapeutic, but quite soothing sound. But then I like a ticking clock, so there you go. That's 3. I've got 2 more I want to cut out. See, now my temptation is to keep all these little tiny stars. Actually, I might cut a couple out. I'm just thinking it might look quite nice. I might need a couple, but I am not going to keep them all and have them in a pot, because I have been there, done that with lots of things, and I know that eventually they end up getting thrown away because I just don't use all the little tiny scraps. You know, beyond up to a certain point I like to keep things, but you know, there comes a point when you think, oh, that actually now that's too small a scrap. I'm getting, you know, a bit silly now. Last biggish start, and then I do think I might cut just a couple of these little ones, not the teeny. There are tiny ones on here, but I am not going to do those. If you were somebody who really loves the fussy cutting, and I don't actually mind, I quite like fussy cutting, but if you are even more sort of into it than me, then you could sit and cut every single one of these little tiny stars out as well. Let me just get that in, and I turn my pieces of paper rather than trying to force my scissors into weird ways. I don't know whether I like that little tiny star I've just cut out. It looks a bit strange now I've cut it out, but let's just do 2 and that will be fine. And then I will have to have a look and see how dry the paint, that's the word, the watercolour is, how dry that is. In fact, actually I can, oh, I'll show you actually, the paint that's in the little ceramic pots has started to split, so we'll have those 2. I'll show you what I mean by how that's now, you know, you've got the blue and the pink has split, and the violet and the pink has split in there. So that's how it starts to split up. If you mix them back up together, then they will become one again, but now they've already started, then that will, you know, really stay like that. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I have given it a little bit of a dry as well as leaving it to dry. It's a little bit paler than I wanted, so what I am thinking is I may, because I've now got less water on there, just go back in with some more sort of colour in some areas, not sort of watering it down too much, but just maybe some, I probably will need a little bit more water than that, but just adding a little bit more colour in some of the areas to see what happens, because I wanted it to be a little bit stronger than what it has turned out as. So just adding some colour. In fact, I might let's do some circles in there. Let's change that into a circle. Thinking as it's sort of like a galaxy type idea. And maybe some, if I can get some splats. It's a very wobbly brush. It's not really the sort of brush that would give me splats. Oh, I don't want splats on my lady, do I? Let's move her out of the way. That just, it's not really the sort of brush I would normally splat with, so it's a little bit more tricky, but let's go give it a bit more water. Maybe give it and just see once that dries how that turns out. I think I'm in a bit indecisive with this page. I suddenly decided that before it actually properly dries, I might put some abstract marks on with this. Is a Dina Wakley media scribble stick. It's my one that has broken in half. All my others are in full order, but this is the night colour, which is a very dark blue, and I thought it might be good whilst it was still damp to go in and just do some sort of circles over the top, because I feel like it needs a little bit of more of a darker sort of colour in there. And then whilst it's sort of just gone on there, just to take a bit of that colour, because the scribble sticks are water soluble, and just bring a bit of that colour out, just to add something a bit different, so it gives it even more of a planetary look to it. But I want to sort of take some of that, and then it will blend in as well with the paint, with the Kuretake Gansai Tambis, and just I thought that might be quite cool. So, and it's where it's going in with the pink, it's like making it even more purpley. I don't want to sort of mess about with too much, because I know that I'm now really saturating this paper, but I just wanted to add something more into the background. So I will now leave it to dry, I promise. So I've waited a while and it's now nice and dry on here. I'm much happier with how that is now looking. It's got a bit more depth of colour to it. And now I thought, I hadn't really sort of thought about what I wanted to use on here, but I want to add a bit more pattern and texture into the background. So I just was having a look through my stamps, and I found these. I don't know if these are available anymore, but I'm sure if you look, you might have something similar in your own stash. So these are texture circles. These were by Crafty, and which is a UK based company, and these are texture borders. So I thought the texture circles would be quite cool, because they sort of go in with that planetary sort of look. So I'm going to use some of my Archival inks. I want to just keep it with the theme of the colours. So I've got Mermaid Lagoon, I've got Faded Jeans, I've got Dusty Concord, Picked Raspberry, and there's Villainous Potion. So sort of like the pinks and blues and purples. I'll pop those down there. And I've got 5 different circles. I probably won't use them all, but I'm going to start. I like this look of this one. This has got sort of like a bubbly edge. Now this is not the best surface for doing stamping, but you know, it's only going to be in the background, so I'm not too worried. Let's just, oh, I like that. That is nice. So these, it could be like a little cluster of stars actually, that one. Let's do 3 of this one. That one didn't stamp as clearly as that top one, so I'm obviously on a bit more of a, to move my lady because I don't want to get ink on her. Let's have one coming off the edge. I like them coming in from the edges, so that's that one. I'm not going to worry about cleaning my stamps off because they you can see they're well loved, these ones, and the archival, you know, it's not a problem anyway. So this one, let's have a look. Let's go with this dusty Concord. So these are just sort of got a bit of texture on them. Let's go one here. Oh, I like that. We'll have one just here. That felt a little bit more difficult. I could feel that wasn't going to stamp as well because I could feel that it wasn't pressing on there as well with how I had the page. And we'll have that bit down there. So that's that one. Very much a planetary look. I love that. Let's put that one back then. Let's go with this one. We'll go with Mermaid Lagoon. Let's have a blue in here. Haven't got any sort of, that one there, right in the middle there. This is like circles within circles, more like a sort of like a wood slice a little bit. Let's do that one. Have some overlapping slightly. So I'm just sort of looking at the page and thinking where it balances out nicely for me. I try not to have things too much in like lines. I make sure that they are staggered. Sometimes I like to have little clusters though. I always think that looks quite nice. So which one have I haven't done this one at the top. Oh, this is very planetary looking as well. I'm thinking that I'm going to leave my really dark purple for last because that's more of a sort of that one there. So let's go with this one. So I'm going to have it horizontal because that to me looks more like a planet. These little archival inks, because they're just like mini ones, they're not as juicy perhaps as if you had a full-on ink, and I haven't ever re-inked them in the time I've had them. So actually they're doing extremely well. I think maybe to have one there. And then finally, there's this one. And now this is sort of echoing the big circles, which is why I wanted the really dark colour, because I wanted that to hopefully show up well amongst this. So there we go. I might even do a few more of these ones because I could add a bit of colour into the middle of these because you've got that centre part. I'm not sure yet, but 3. Oops, that didn't stamp that bit, never mind. Let's have, do you know what, I don't think I'm inking it up totally. Let's have, I want one there, and I want one more, and now I'm making my eye follow these, and I'm not sure whether I want to go there or I'm thinking here. There. So that will do for those. Now I would like to add a little bit of stenciling in as well. I'm thinking, because we've got this sort of black and gold. Now I've stamped without thinking about where this is going to go. So it is going to cover up some of what I've done, but that, you know, the point of creating the background first is you never know. So you create the background you like and then you sort of sort that out afterwards. But I'm thinking because we've got sort of gold in her hair, which I might emphasize a bit, and these gold stars, actually, rather than doing stenciling, I could just add the these stars on, couldn't I? So maybe I do need to start thinking about where I'm going to put her. Now, I've already have thought that I want to maybe put her down below the line of the actual framed piece. So I didn't want as much of her dress as was there. So I'm going to chop that part off. Like that. So she'll sort of be down here and then off of that edge as well. I think that looks quite nice when she's now I'm not going to stick her down yet because I'm going to stick her down once I take the edges off. Oh, now I'm thinking, because I don't... Do you know what? I actually may take the edges off now because I'm thinking that I might want some of these going off as well. So let's take the edges off. I meant the tape. Take the tape off. And as always, I just love it when you sort of take that tape off and get that lovely look. Now, do I want to, I'm thinking, stick her on first and then stick my stars on, although I sort of want, I feel like I want that one. Right, put them all in a little pot here. Oh, would I like a darker one there? No, I like that golden one there. Let me just figure again which way around it went. So I'm sort of thinking I'd like that one there. Now, I haven't gone and got my collage medium, so I will need to do that. Which way? It sort of goes like that. That. I might not use them all. I might just use 3 large ones, and then I've got these 2 tiny teeny ones which I think actually I just add them. I'm thinking just those ones because I could add some stenciling on afterwards, just a little bit of something with some gold or something like that. Right, let me just grab my Distress Collage medium. It is here. Oops, so that's me hitting the radiator with my chair. Right, let's get a brush. Right, there we go. Very old, dilapidated brush, but I keep them going and going and going. Especially the ones I use for my mediums and for paint and things like that. Let's just move my inks out of the way. And then let's stick this down. Oh! I can't get the lid off. I'm going to have to bang it on the table, so I apologise. Sometimes that is just about enough, and it did. It just breaks the seal. It's top tip. Right, let's stick this one down first because I want that to go there. So if I'm looking, I'm going to stick it here. Let's pop you there. Maybe just in a little bit. I don't want it going over that bit. Right, let's put her on next because she is the main feature, really. Move that one just out of the way slightly. Right, I'm going to put a little bit on the page as well. Now, you see, before the paper was really sort of ruckling up a little, quite a lot actually. Oh, where's my star gone? Oh, look, it's stuck to her. It was, yeah, it was ruckling up because of all the water, but once it's dried, it's actually straightened out again, so it's fine. It's that's what happens, you know, when you're adding liquids to your papers. They will sort of bend and warp a little bit. Oops, let's give you A little coating over the top. That's a bit of my brush. Let's get that off. Don't know where that's gone. There it is. You're in trouble when you've got brushes like me where they're sort of beginning to fall apart a little bit. Now I have that one up there. This is where I always end up getting loads and loads of dried on glue on my hands. I have this one, let's have it over a little bit there. Over and down, so it's, yeah, there. I like that there. Oops. Ooh. The good thing about this, usually, even if you stick it down and it's not quite where you want, you have a bit of, you know, wiggle time to get that out. Now, if you find, like I have here, I've probably just gone over the edge a little bit with it. You can either fold it onto the other page, or just get your scissors afterwards and just cut it off. Let's do a couple of these tiny ones. One there. Oops. No, it doesn't want to stay because it's so tiny. There we go. And perhaps one here. She could have it just in front of her there. Just she sort of could be looking at. Right, so that's all stuck on. Put the lid on there, and I will give it a quick dry and then I will be back. I have dried that off with my heat tool briefly just to take the wetness off of there, but I'm now feeling like I need to bring some of the dark, as in the black, I think these are black rather than blue, into my background as well. So I've grabbed one of the texture borders that was with that other set that I had, and I'm just going to get a black Archival ink pad. Now I do have my blacks as bigger ink pads because they're the ones I use most, and I just want to take a little section, I don't want to take too much, and just add a few little dots into background, and I'm sort of trying to get them where they're I like to sort of connect things together, so I'm connecting into the circles. And this is just to, sometimes when you have a very dark focal image, you want a little bit of that in your background as well, otherwise it can sometimes just look a bit odd, where it's the only sort of like the darkest thing. So just by adding that little bit into the background, hopefully that will then bring that together. Now I'm going to use my Copic Acrea gold pen, and so give it a shake and get it started. And I want to add some, did talk about sort of like colouring in the middle of these, but I'm thinking that I'm just going to add a little bit of doodling into the middle, maybe of the ones that have got an open centre. If they haven't got an open centre, I'm not going to worry. I'm not doing anything sort of super fancy, but I did just want to add a little bit of gold into the page because I think that just goes really nicely with the theme of the night sky. I was thinking I'd done more, and then I realised that they're obviously underneath underneath my lady. I'm thinking I could go around the outside of these other ones, so that's just perhaps not the blue ones. I like the blue ones just sort of really melting into the background. Let's do something with those ones there. I think that now where she's got her stars in her hair, I just want to emphasize those a little bit because they're not really, because of the way they're printed, they're more sort of a yellowy brown than a gold. So I want to just go over where they are, and also the little stars at the end, just bring the gold out into those. I'm also not loving, I have to say, the colour of her dress. So I may attempt to just change that slightly. I wonder if I might also just put a little dot of gold into the middle of there as well, just to really tie that together. Now for her dress, I am wondering, let me just move some things. I do have some Faber Castell Pitt pens, and I'm thinking I could maybe, these are sort of have a translucency to them, and if I potentially could colour over just to try to tie that in a little bit more. These are India ink, so they dry permanent and they go over lots of different things. They're fabulous pens. I do love these pens. I've had mine for a number of years and I do use them. Now that's, I think that's too light, that blue. So let's go for a slightly darker blue. Ooh, when I say slightly darker, we went to the other extreme there, didn't we? But this is the other thing, you know, with your collage, don't be afraid to change it up. Just you get a bit of movement time with these, because especially over something like this where they're over your medium, so you can, oh that's better, I'm liking that better already. Yeah, because I've got that sort of shiny surface underneath, that will enable me to move that about a little bit, and I prefer that. That makes me happy. I do now have a bit of pen on my hand, but never mind, that's fine. And then if I give that a quick waft, I'll do it with a gentle heat just to dry that off. My paint pen in the middle of the stars is quite a thick layer, so let's just give it a general waft. And I think I can add a bit of gold perhaps around. Oops. Oh, I've really got that. And let's just do it actually in little dots. I was going to do it, try to do it in lines. I think where I've dotted with it, it's got a bit, a lot of it's coming out. Now I'm wondering whether to try. Oh, I knew I was going to do that, didn't I? That was very silly, but luckily, again, because you when you've got that matte medium on, it does give you a little bit of sort of leeway. Right, let's not lean into something. Let's see if I can do just a couple of little extra stars. Now that where I drew round there is all joined together, so I am just going to go round because I think that pen was quite juicy is the word I think I'm looking for. Let's just do a few of these. So let's do two. These are quite simple to draw. It's just a dot and then a line, horizontal, vertical, and then a diagonal. So just 3 of those just to add, sort of match what's on her. I did notice I hadn't actually put dots in the middle of those ones. But I'm feeling like something is irritating me around her head, and I need to put a little bit of shading, I think. So I've got my Derwent Inktense pencils, and I want to sort of stick with, what's this? I'm going to get the violet one, and I haven't got a water pot because I took them away and I didn't replace them. So I will get my water spritzer and we'll get a little block and we'll put some water onto here just to get my paintbrush. So I'm not going to use that one. I will use this one, and I'm just going to tape from the tip of my brush a little bit more water than that. A little bit of the colour, and just add a bit of shading around the image. Again, because you've got that matte medium over the top, if any does go onto there, you've got, you know, the time to be able to just remove it. These do dry permanent, so obviously if you left it there, eventually it's going to dry and stay on there. But if you're moving it straight away while it's still wet, that's fine. You've got the time to do that. Let's do a bit into here as well. Just want to really darken up there, especially behind it. I'll get my cloth actually. Hopefully I haven't just wiped any of the gold. Right, let's a bit more. Now if you put it on and you think, oops, that's a bit much, just wet your brush. Just take that colour out. Just water it out, just fade it away. I'm just going to turn her this way a little bit. And just again, see, I've gone quite dark there because as the tip of the pencil is getting wet, then it's lifting easier as I go in with my brush, which is why it's then, you know, coming out a lot darker very quickly. Just take a bit of water again, just water that out. You do get quite a bit of wiggle time with that, but I'm liking that so much better already, where the darkness is around her. It's just then helping to make her sort of stand out a bit better. Let's turn her upside down. Now I am only touching the wet to the tip of the pencil. I am not letting it go into the wood itself, and I wouldn't ever dip these pencils rather, into water, because you do not want that wetness going up into the wood and potentially rotting it. Let me just see, I have to look at it from another angle because that's where the light's shining. For me, it's not, I can't see quite clearly where I'm going with that. Now I'm not worried if the watercolour in the background decides it's going to move a little bit because I'm adding extra water back in. It doesn't bother me because it's all sort of quite a blended background anyway. But I tend to find that even water reactive products, once they've dried, that, you know, unless you're really going to go for it over the top of them, they do tend to just stay where you want them. The only exception I would say to that is I think sometimes the Tim Holtz distress products are extremely water reactive at times, but that's because that's what they're meant to do. They're meant to be very sort of water soluble, so they, I find sometimes if I start adding like my mediums over the top, they can move a bit more than I would like. A little bit here. I'm going to keep that off of that edge. I'm liking that. I think that will do. So she's got a little bit more sort of a shadow going on around her now. Right, so I will let her dry and then I will find a sentiment to add onto the page. So I found the perfect sentiment amongst my lemon creation messy, I think they're super messy words, and it's go where the stars take you. So I'm just trying to decide whether I want it there. I think potentially there actually. That maybe a little bit closer, maybe across to there. I don't want it to feel like I'm sticking it into her neck. Go where the stars take you. Maybe there then. Just so it's a little bit further out. So let's get my glue. Let's hope it's not blocked up. Oh, good, good, good. So, always a bonus. I just feel like I've won at life when I open the glue and it doesn't, it isn't blocked. Let me just hold that up so I can just check that that is straight. Now, sometimes I put a shadow around it. I'm not going to because it's black writing on a white background. I think it's standing out pretty well. So there we go. It's my finished page. So if you enjoyed that, do please give me a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed, please consider whether you'd like to click that subscribe button, because it all helps. Let me just lift it up and give you a bit of a view. So I've changed the colour of her dress, so don't be don't think when you get collage images that that's it, you have to use them as they are. There are things you can do to change them. So there we go. So that's from the Hey Diddle Diddle. I will list the products used in the description box, and I will link the book, and I will link the Cardi Fat book, and anything that I can think of that I need to link as well. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.